Hello everybody, welcome into Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns from Mr. Pat. We have a new guest with us, apparently a long-time watcher, first-time guest. We have Amanda, who wants to talk to you a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
Derrick is the other guy. Fresh off the UTBG game. He is the host of the main events, Saturdays 9 a.m. to noon. Okay. And he is also the voice of UT Rockets on WXUT 88.3 FM. Nailed it that time.
Yep. And sportsradio.com.
Yes, sportsradio.com.
Doesn't seem to think girls can lead in pick'ems.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Knee-jerk reaction.
All right. The big story happened earlier today. I got a text from Arnold telling me I should talk about this. Dan Weldon, a two-time Indy 500 winner, died today. He was in a 15 pile-up car crash and succumbed to his injuries. Very sad. I mean, I'm not much of a racing fan myself, but it's always sad to see someone, especially at his age, to go out like that. I mean, I know you had some thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, the thing that kind of caught me too watching it is just open car racing. You see all the time guys getting wrecks like that, and they just walk away. It was 15 cars. All these other guys were getting out, just walking away from it, and to know that at 33 years old, that's at the end of his life, it's just really sad.
Isn't Indy car racing one of the safest race car racing too? Like how the cars are built and structured?
I mean, typically, like they're made to everything's made to just blow off of them. You know, you see the wheels go and the guys are still there in the cars, and so this is shocking.
Yeah. And our prayers go out for his family and his thoughts, but I guess it's kind of difficult to transition into this, but we have our fantasy football pick'ems. I know, but it's on Amanda. She actually wrote on the wall for the Facebook page, which you should like us on. She had a comment about last week, one of the people on this show questioned me because we let a woman lead us in our pick'ems. The standings as of now, Amanda is leading with 46 right. I am right behind with 44. Game to game as of last week.
But we'll see on the evening games here.
Norton drops 2. He's at 42. And Wagner's still in 4th with 37. All right, I know you've been thinking about this all week. Amanda, tell your thoughts on it.
I feel like, women, we can watch football, we can know what's going on. It doesn't have to be what team has the better uniform or what mascot is going to eat the other one. We can know a little bit about football too.
Yeah, I respect it. Like I said, it just threw me off because I'm used to hearing guys' names. So when he said Amanda, I was like, a girl? So my apologies, women do know football.
That's right.
I'd like to point out that he calls me out, but he neglected to make any picks. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, I'm a busy man.
Speaking of him being a busy man, so we're going to get into right next. The next thing is he was at the UTBG game calling it. I know, first thing, 2 things, new big things for this series. First, they changed it. It's usually the last game of the year. That's what I prefer. I like having the rivalry games be the last. OSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC on even number years. And I like the UTBG being the last one. You said you liked it. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, the reason why I like it is because UT and BG are in kind of a peculiar situation. For one, the last game is pretty much near Thanksgiving, and you're going to either play a Tuesday or Wednesday night because it's going to be on ESPN, and there's no students there, or there's no fans. So that was one of the main reasons why they moved it up. Now, unfortunately, since it was at BG, they had their homecoming that weekend, and they had fall break the week before while we're going at ours. So there wasn't too many UT fans, but there was a lot of BG fans there. So that was pretty much the main reason why they moved it, because they wanted people to be there and students, because there was never students there. So that's the reason why I like the move. It's a rivalry game. You want the students to be there.
Oh yeah. Another thing that was big with this series is they've been battling for the peace pipe. It's been going around since what was the 40s?
Since the 40s, a 10-year gap because someone stole it.
Yeah. But they changed it due to not necessarily pressure. They just want to be more politically correct with the Native American population, which is it is a symbol of the tribes, something that they use. So they no longer do that. UT is going to keep it because they won the last game, and now they battle for the I-75 trophy. What are your thoughts on that? Amanda, do you like that they are changing the name?
I just feel like there's so much of that in sports anymore. Like, it's something especially like a peace pipe. I mean, what is the big deal? It's not using it in any way to denigrate, another culture. I mean, I just think sometimes political correctness can take it a little too far.
Most students didn't know that the peace pipe was about Indian culture in the first place. They thought it was other things. Also, the UT did win the game, but they were not awarded the trophy because the trophy's not finished. they never made the trophy. So next year they'll have the trophy, but if UT loses, then BG will have the trophy. So that was the only bummer thing about it, but they did win the initial I-75 trophy, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they won 28-21. They didn't have too great of stats. Morgan Williams had a great game on the ground, though. 19 rushes, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns. He pretty much carried it. Game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
I wasn't surprised.
Really?
No, I said on the main event, I said BG will probably play a very hard good game. And they're not a bad team.
No.
I mean, but they did get blown out by Western and West Virginia, but that was expected. But it's a rivalry game, they're going to step up, and I figured that UT would only win by 1 or 2 touchdowns. So I wasn't surprised.
Now, Notre Dame was on a bye week. Usually this is the time where I start talking about how great Notre Dame is. They're on a bye week. They play USC next week. We'll get into that more in Pat's piece. But this week, we'll move on past that. Big brother, little brother. Michigan State versus Michigan. The little brother has pretty much owned that series as of late. I mean, it's 4 years in a row. Ever since Mike Hart made those comments, it's kind of went in Michigan State's favor. Michigan lost 14-28. Denard Robinson really couldn't get anything going all game. He went 9-24, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. What are your thoughts after seeing that game?
I just honestly, the whole game plan, I was not a fan of. I think, Denard wasn't really able to do what he does well. They brought in Devin Gardner, the previous game, and he worked real well where they were pitching back to Denard, letting him run. This time it seemed like they kept bringing Devin Gardner in too much. He's a great young athlete, but you're getting your starter out of a rhythm. Denard's not able to get in. I mean, he's not a great passer to begin with. Everyone knows that. We're not going to beat around that. But you're not even allowing him to get into a rhythm and not taking him out of the game completely. He can't even run and do what he does well.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't a fan of him.
I figured this was going to happen sooner or later. I mean, Michigan's kind of played some cupcake teams. The problem I see with it is that why is Hope running a pro-style offense with Denard Robinson? That's not his strengths don't suit that. We already know that he can't hit the receivers on stride. I mean, that's just his problem. And eventually, when they played a team that actually played some defense, teams are going to figure that out. And he's going to get the guy hurt.
Right. And it's kind of like what happened when Rich Rod first came over too. He's trying to run a West Coast offense with Lloyd Carr leftovers, and now Hope's kind of trying to do the same thing. I mean, you got to work with what you have, and these guys aren't pro-style offense players.
And not taking anything away from Michigan State, they actually do have the #1 defense in college football right now.
Right.
But they really did make Denard look ordinary, which hasn't happened really all this year, because the guy, whenever he gets in space, he's pretty much gone.
Right.
Now, the other game that went on, Ohio State beat Illinois 17-7. Illinois was ranked in the top 20. Ohio State beat them without really passing the ball at all. I mean, I don't think they trust much Braxton Miller. He's a freshman. He threw 4 passes. But they did get Daniel Boom-Herron back. Got his name right that time. He rushed to the tune of 114 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad, pretty good game for a guy coming back. Now they do have him back. Do you think it'll make a difference against Wisconsin? Could they make that a game?
I mean, I think anytime it's divisional, it can always be a game. It's another Big Ten team. You never know what can happen. But Ohio State is just a wild card this year. You don't know what to expect from them, what players are going to be playing, what players are going to get in more trouble. It's just a question.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No. If Braxton Miller could only pass 4 times, only make 1 completion, no. The 3 yards in a cloud of dust does not work in the 21st century. So they're pretty much going to fill the box up. Wisconsin.
Sorry, 20 plus?
No, I wouldn't say 20. Yeah, 20 plus. Yeah.
Your Bears can pass for like 4 times in a game and still win. What
That's
makes you
the
think
problem.
Ohio State can't pull
No,
that?
Braxton Miller and Jay Cutler, 2 different entities there.
Give you that.
All right, speaking of the NFL, we have games going on. I was actually at the Lions-49ers game. I went with Lions Larry. He was a little more upset about the game than I was. Now, the big thing that happened, obviously, 49ers won 25-19. They had a little ruckus at the end. Jim Schwartz took a little exception at Jim Harbaugh's overexuberance, chased the man down, and started
like
getting
a
into him.
crazed lunatic out there. He was just...
Yeah, I thought that was kind of pathetic. I mean, I understand that you lost because they were saying it on Fox, and Howie and Bradshaw were talking about, well, yeah, he's thinking about the loss and blah, blah, and he was a little upset. But I didn't really see what Harbaugh did that was wrong. Schwartz said he hit him too hard when he try to pat him on the back. So.
And that's why, like, I was watching some of the post-game stuff too, and it seemed like a lot of the analysts were more mad at Harbaugh, saying he's new, he's got to learn the respect, the ways. I honestly didn't see it either. I mean, the guy's excited. He just beat an undefeated team. I didn't get, why are people not allowed to be excited in sports anymore? It just,
at least he said good game. It wasn't like, oh, well, cool, whatever.
Completely walk past it.
Right,
and not
exactly.
give any
Acknowledgement.
I mean, this is his first game. Of course he's going to be excited. I mean, the 49ers have been woeful before he got there. He turns them around completely in the first 6 games. He's 5-1. First time they've been this way since 1998. Of course he's going to be excited. All right, let me ask you guys.
Or maybe Schwartz needs to hit the weight room, because I didn't think that hit was that hard.
Schwartz, though, he's the guy I would not want to meet in a dark alley. That guy's scary.
He's fired up all the time.
Yeah. I mean, ever since Mike Tice retired, I think he might be the scariest coach now. Mike Tice, the former coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
Over Rob Ryan? I mean, I know he's not the head coach, but it seems like most people treat him like that now anyways. He's pretty scary.
Yeah. I don't know. Jim Schwartz just has this intensity. I mean, he chased a guy down to get after him.
I'd rather have that than Lovie Smith, so.
Yeah, that's true.
John
2
Fox.
opposites.
Yeah.
All right, you wanted to talk about this earlier. She's a Broncos fan. Not much to cheer about.
Not much to cheer about.
They made a big announcement over their bye week. So why don't you take it from here?
I'm just really excited that John Fox decided to start Tim Tebow. I'm not going to say I'm completely on the Tebow wagon. He's got a lot to prove. I know this. I know there's a lot of enthusiasts. There's a lot of haters. You look at what he even did last year in the 2010 season when he started their last 3 games, and he had 11 touchdowns. And yeah, he had 3 interceptions, but 6 of the 11 were rushing. I just think even when they put him in the game last week towards the end, he brought a spark. They didn't win, but he gives them something. Kyle Orton, he's a good quarterback. He's not going to win you a game. He's not going to lose it for you. He's just always kind of in the middle. Tim Tebow gives you that excitement of like maybe you're going to do something big. So I'm excited to see what he can do. They don't have anything else to lose.
He's totally right. Because Kyle Orton was a Bears quarterback, and he is a clock manager. He doesn't have a really strong arm. He's decently accurate, but he's not going to win you a game. He's just going to manage it. If you have the lead and you have a great defense, he won't screw up. But if you're behind by 3 touchdowns,
he's not the guy. No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, usually we do who's your best team. I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. They beat Houston 29-14. One of my favorite players, Ray Lewis, had 12 tackles, 1 sack. As a team, they had 4 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Held Houston to 14 points. I know they lost Andre Johnson, but this is still a good offensive team. They have Arian Foster, they have Matt Schaub. So I was excited about it. They were my best team. Give me your guys'.
I have to say the 49ers.
Okay.
I was actually surprised Pat didn't pick the 49ers.
I picked them last week, and I don't want to be Lou Holtz and pick them every single week as much as I love Lou Holtz.
They beat an undefeated team, and they played well.
I picked the Bears last week. Didn't see that happen. But I did pick them this week over the Vikings. They are woeful. So.
Yeah. There was also Green Bay, who had Aaron Rodgers, just incredible. The guy, he's a machine. He got drafted in the perfect situation. I'm a big fan of his. He's very fun to watch.
He's a great quarterback. Phil Simms may have a love affair bigger with him than John Madden had for Brett Favre, but he's a great quarterback. It's rough.
Brett Favre and Larry Elmer are John Madden's 2 favorite people ever. All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back and do Pat's piece. See you in a bit. Here's an understatement. The Notre Dame-USC game on Saturday is huge. Now, taking out the fact that it's Notre Dame's biggest rival and the first night home game at Notre Dame Stadium in 21 years. This game means a whole lot for the future of Notre Dame and Brian Kelly. This year started off way below expectations. They gave away the USF game, they gift-wrapped the Michigan game, and in the process sent Notre Dame message boards into a state of seizure. Now, since then, they've rattled off 4 straight wins, the defense has been dominating the line of scrimmage, and they've had a working running game for the first time since Darius Walker. Now, take a look at the recruits visiting campus for this game. According to CBS Sports, 10 of the top 100 recruits are going to be making their official visits. And if you're going to try and show off South Bend, this is the best possible way to do it. The class is already in the top 10, and this night could possibly tip the scales to make it great. As for what it means to Brian Kelly, he used up a lot of goodwill with the Michigan game, and a win against your biggest rival at home in the first night home game in 21 years will go a long way to getting people to stop clamoring for Urban Meyer. Thanks for watching Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns with Mr. Pet. See you next time, and go Irish.